Oh, man.
Okay, I forgot that they were gonna run back there, and I was like, what is happening? Oh, welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, AKA the biggest party room you have ever seen for the final game of the regular season. A win in this match would lock FlyQuest as our final playoff team. And there's
Dash is gonna be going back home, by the way, with a bruise, because I whipped.
Yeah, that looked like it hurt.
Did he fall?
No, I mean, I just literally.
Damn, I thought he fell and I missed
I literally
Oh.
I whipped his ass with it, and it's gonna.
I
put
thought
that
he
out there.
tripped over in the corner.
not nice of you to do
I was
that.
sitting.
It is
Serious.
what it is, man.
I guess, like, oh no.
All right, let's talk about this matchup. It's FlyQuest versus CLG. Do y'all mind if I just use this to
Direct us, yeah.
Raz?
Give me those.
Yeah, what do you think? Are FlyQuest worthy of it? No.
I mean, like, for me, for both these teams, it comes down to FlyQuest looking really damn good with Palafox and Jose Diodo. I wasn't a believer at the very beginning. I was on the court of NXI, who's been coming in strongly. And then you see team fights like these, with the main carries literally being Palafox and Jose Diodo that were in the training camps of Academy.
I think that's where I land with FlyQuest, is being like, I don't know 100% what to expect from you. And so for them trying to make it into playoffs, I'll give them an extra week with this roster, more practice, and maybe go into the best of fives, a little bit unknown for a lot of teams.
And so it comes down to this. I mean, it comes down to the fact that FlyQuest are the ones in control of their destiny.
Yeah.
They're the ones that got that extra win. And so now, if they win this game over CLG, they're the ones that go to playoffs.
Because the head-to-head is in Golden Guardians'
Yeah.
favor, they need to win this game. So even if they lose, you see the records get tied, that would then put Golden Guardians in playoffs. So if you're a
Yes.
Golden Guardians fan, you love CLG. That's why it was funny where, DeMonte was saying that his former team that benched him after one split needs him to pick up a dub for them. So it's a pretty interesting situation.
And where did that bring you? Back to me.
Truly desperate to come to me for help.
Oh,
All
God.
of the Golden Guardians fans of old now have even more reason to cheer for CLG here. We are into the draft. CLG taking on FlyQuest. Bans underway and first lock.
I appreciate that FlyQuest ended up banning out the Twisted Fate against DeMonte, because even with the loss they have with that, I thought he looked really good, and he is a type of player who does like to play for side lanes, so I appreciate that coming out.
In the last two games, you saw the power FTF when it works well.
Yeah.
Okay, you get a pressure on the top side, counter pick, if especially on your red side, that's when you have to worry about that 4-5 coming in the last phase of the draft.
Syndra is the typical, like, if you can flex Syndra, it's a damn good pick for you, because it adds another power pick to the pool that teams have to be afraid of you. And it comes down to a question of whether Tomo can play it well enough or not. If he's proficient at it, if Diamond and Tomo, if they are, then suddenly Nautilus is a really damn good, or Leona is a really damn good 3-pick, and wow, Roxo putting the
Roxo's
gauntlet
elite.
down.
I mean, this is a pocket pick for him, you could say. He is a very good Elise and has played it a lot. It's just not particularly strong in the current meta. I mean, a lot of junglers, when they talk about it, is like, if my first, 2 ganks don't instantly get me kills, you're going to fall behind and have a miserable time. But, you can make it work.
And that's where they're definitely going to be targeting topside, right?
Yeah.
Because you have the Renekton Elise, which is a classic CC combination duo up on the top side. So it's an odd pick, but it has good synergy with the 2 other champions there.
Yeah, and I mean, Renekton is still a flex pick, so DeMonte can still play it. They can still play it through mid lane. They can also go double bruiser with Elise mid. So, at the end of the day, it's very centered around their early mid game. So I want to see what FlyQuest end up going towards. The lock-in of Varus is interesting, because it's not ideal if you are trying to flex Syndra, but it seems like they just feel that Syndra is a good enough blind anyways, and now they can start banning out picks that they don't like to go against in mid lane.
Actually, they're throwing some at the bot lane, which I guess makes sense as well. It's a very mismatched draft. Normally you talk about people kind of being in the same place. You have support, jungle, and top, and then the other team has a mid lane, jungle, and AD carry. So the only overlap is that jungle position. So they're targeting the AD carries, getting rid of some of the strong ones, it looks like. So Varus has a good matchup in the bot lane.
That makes sense. And generally speaking, within a meta, AD carries aren't going to have that many viable, safe picks. So if you start pinching them out, then it makes it easier. Ziggs is an interesting one, especially since if your Elise is your sole AP, you do want an extra bit of AP damage coming in there, just so you at least have a decent later portions of the game. So it's a good ban here.
a pick that's definitely come onto the ban
the
block
Braum ban.
more recently. Braum also another target towards that bot lane, but in that supportive role. So still things to be open though.
Yeah, and I still think Nautilus is a fine pick that you can look towards here. It's one of Diamond's best. Another
or
one.
the
That was a good one.
Ah.
Friday for him.
Yeah, I like the Nautilus better, but the Rel has been a really strong pick for Diamond as well. He's obviously comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So they're gonna go for more of a comfort and hope he can get off some similar engages to like what he did yesterday.
So the Echo mid is a common counter pick into Syndra. It's actually a little rough in the very early portions of the laning phase, but once you get out of those, you have some kill threat on her, and plus in side lanes, you feel so much more comfortable than the Syndra, and this is what they're going to try and do. Have Ezreal mid 1-3-1 with the side lane, and try and make a little roaming death squad with Leona and the Elise.
I wonder where the pick is going to be. So that's going to be a Graves going into the jungle, Viego in the top lane. That's the choice that they made. I was wondering if they wanted some survivability top lane. Sometimes when you see yourself going up against a Renekton Elise, you'd go for an Ornn just to see if you can somehow survive. In this case, not going to be the case. We're going to be seeing that, Viego.
Yeah, and the Viego with the Rel worked so well together, but it was Jose Deodo, I believe, on the Viego last time. So just curious about the thoughts of the fact bringing it back into that solo lane to leave that possibility for Graves to come through here.
I like this from FlyQuest, better scaling from them, and I also think that Jose Deodo on a carry with the Graves coming back is a damn good pick. Also, he's going to be going into Shield Bow, which is going to help a lot versus the burst of the double mage mid jungle. So I think that they position themselves well later on in the game.
And then for CLG, it's really just going to be about how can Damonte affect side lanes to get ahead. Like, is he going to be teaming up with Broxa to try to get that head? Because again, if they don't put the game in their favor, you're gonna have like an Elise that's gonna end up getting blown up, and yeah,
with these two drafts in particular, Mark, which one are you leaning towards?
I'm leaning towards FlyQuest. I mean, the top lane situation is a little weird because the Viego is a little less lane focused with the changes on the current patch, and we talked about that going topside, so it's a little risky, but if that doesn't get snowballed, I don't see FlyQuest losing this game.
Flatly put, I just don't like the Elise. I think Elise is very, very clear what she's trying to accomplish. Games should go long enough where she's gonna start to struggle. So, in there for FlyQuest.
Yeah, oftentimes player going to comfort in the final games of the regular season. We'll have to find out if that comfort is going to work for the side of CLG or if FlyQuest will bring this back into their hands for playoff contention. Casters, take it away.
Thank you very much to Tigress. I mean, you heard us say it at the end there, Crumbs. This is a comfort drop for CLG. It's their last game of the regular season. They won't play again until 2020, what year is it, 22?
Yeah,
Did
that's it.
Man. So it's really thrown me for a loop, this whole pandemic situation.
Well, they found this comfort in the time machine because these picks are from last year, right? This is Elise, Renekton, a dreaded duo in the 2v2 topside, but it's up against Viego. So Viego did switch away from the Ignite in the very last minute. I do appreciate that. It will be a lot easier to survive that dive, but the danger is that Elise just does not farm the jungle that quickly. The Graves should be able to outpace her, and as long as FlyQuest survive the early game, then they should be fine because they have a lot to play for. So you can really see that FlyQuest is trying to win here. Their playoff lives depend on it, and on the flip side, as a viewer, you gotta ask, why? Why should CLG try? Why are they in last place, and why should they give it their all? It's for pride. It's for making sure that their season ends on a high note because God knows they need it.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of these players, I think for the org in general, just ending your season on a high note means a lot.
Yeah.
High-level sports are often about mental games. Definitely need a mental booster, even though, again, your season is going to end at the end of this game, no matter what happens. As Jose Deodo found his way onto a different side of the map. But as a reminder, if you've got some weekend errands to run and don't want to miss any of the matchup, you can check out an audio-only cast of the games through League Day. Today it's going to be Space Ghost and Kangas bringing you the audio-only action. But if you want to watch the LCS with your eyes, stay right here, because we've got a game going on.
And you might want to see Elise with your eyes. It's something that we haven't seen in a very long time. And curiously enough, though, CLG will not do anything
Oh,
about
no.
FlyQuest to start. I thought we were going to see a split map state and Broxah would path to the red side to try to take that camp since they had double vision both on their own red side and FlyQuest, but instead Jose Diodo will go red to red, and now what normally would have been Elise's path, which is just camping topside, will not make it, and we'll actually get spotted.
That ward is so good. Palafox knows what's up, and looking like a 3 buff to me as Broxah is trying. Jose Diodo only level 2. This is actually pretty important. Broxah is does have the quick level 3 as a result of his pathing. Does not have smite actually. They're going to be cooling down around the same time. And who's going to get it? Broxah is going to try and leash this up, but the red buff's getting a little angry, and Jose Diodo just going to shove him off here because Kumo's coming up. Palafox here as well. Stun charging up, finds Broxah. Q there for a bit of poke. Good close range cocoon there. But Jose Diodo's got the red buff. Brox's going to be forced to flash, and everyone's not going to go over to follow. But that is the 3 buff very likely completed now for FlyQuest.
That's a win for FlyQuest, making sure that Elise does not get any action in the early game and now doesn't have flash. Without targets to repel, she is really easy to catch in the jungle. So a good collapse from the solo lanes of FlyQuest, protecting the jungle and making sure that Broxah does not get off to an early start. But Broxah can still combo very effectively with the CC from the solo lane. So it's a small win, and now Smoothie will join him to ensure that he doesn't get double crab.
Yeah, double crab is actually nice here for Broxah. That's, I guess, the consolation prize of losing your red buff basically at level 1. I wonder if CLG have an extension. No, they don't. Broxah going to walk back into his own jungle and answer the question for me. But this is kind of what you were highlighting, Crumbs, right? One of the reasons you don't see Elise is that you kind of just give it up as Damonte. A little bit of a banger tweet here.
This was the one that Mark was referencing, Damonte, and knowing that Golden Guardians' fate is in his own hands. A loss here means that Golden Guardians does not make it into the postseason, so it would really sting Golden Guardians cheering as hard as they can. Oh, Kumo, you're about to die.
Great ward timing there. Whew. I actually missed the brush as well, but I think it ended up helping him out. Now going to walk into the wave and try and deny the incoming cocoon, just trying to make a bunch of space here. Stun lands there. It's very nice for Broxah, but the flash is real quick for Kumo at the end there.
Staying alive in the top side. You know that this is going to be targeted, and this means that he can now probably TP back, and CLG won't have enough damage to go for a dive at full HP, so I think he can go for it. CLG, though, feeling like they might try. Brox is level 4, but Finn doesn't have enough Fury, so they will just back off and let Kumo hold this wave. A good weak side play from Kumo to ensure that CLG's early game strategy is not carried out.
Yeah, and Broxah, you know, trying to get something back, while Jose Diodo also stealing the enemy Krugs, taking some damage on the other side of it, but Diamond insta-flashes in! Ignite is down, and Wild Turtle's forced to shift out. But he holds on to his flash. Very aggressive for FlyQuest there to try and get first blood.
They gotta run out of here since Damonte was also threatening bot side. So despite them flashing over against Wild Turtle, they can't take advantage of the low health of the Ezreal. So they have to turn tail. And meanwhile, Broxah still living in the top side, knowing that Kumo does not have flash. You'll likely see him strike this area again. But if he gets caught going for these Krug camps again, he will be in danger. So he has to recall quickly and then get back on the map and see if he can team up with Finn and make something happen again.
Wonder how close the XP is between these junglers, because a ton of small camps actually just got traded. Broxah actually went ahead and basically stole a bunch, as Jose Diodo is going to play catch up, but he's slightly ahead. He should be the first to level 5 if he has anything to do with it, but I think Broxah maybe left some pieces of these smaller camps around here, so Jose actually didn't get the full value out of them. So very complex bit of counter jungling here, and thank you very much for pulling that up. Yeah, they're very close. So despite getting 3 buffed for Broxah, they're actually basically even in XP.
Yeah, they're even in experience, but the gold will slowly be in Jose Diodo's favor, and the scaling will definitely help him out. And now you can see that FlyQuest is thinking that, hey, look at what Finn is doing. There's a big wave crashing. CLG might be making an attempt at a play, but you can see that in the river, Leona and Elise are too far away. They were never set up to go for a dive. So instead, the wave crashes, and FlyQuest, in anticipation of a play topside, was there to defend. But now, oh, okay, they still linger. This could be a big counter. I don't think CLG can go for this once they see.
Oh, they're going to get paid off. Broxah now knows what's up, but Finn could be in trouble. Crash down, not enough. Stun lands onto Finn, but he's level 6. He'll be just fine there as the poke is not enough. And a good job sticking around long enough to deflect that play, but now mid lane could be the problem.
That's the key, sticking around long enough. The first wave, they didn't make it, but CLG was still in line for the second one, and FlyQuest saw it coming, stuck around, and protected their weak side.
Broxah, though, the long con here for this wraparound. Get himself slowed. Great Cocoon, rappel down. No flash this time. It's first blood for Damonte. Oh, he's got the Golden Guardians icon. I love it. I love it, Damonte. There it is again.
He's doing it for them. And a kill going his way would be so perfect if it is Damonte that
He's
carries
still doing it. That's 4 emotes in like 10 seconds. That might be an LCS record. Diamond looking for the follow-up there. Gets the stun. But the shield lands right on time. Damage is there, though, and Diamond is going to get the kill back.
Good chase out of FlyQuest, knowing that they actually had enough CC and damage to chase through that. And this will now be timed with an invade, the TP on mid, but they don't have the timer on Brox's red because of his irregular pathing. So they didn't know that there was an opportunity to actually counter this. So it won't be so damaging to Brox's jungle clear. Instead, they'll just get a Raptor camp, and now they'll have to turn tail with Broxa basing and going back on the map. He'll have his Hex Tech alternator. So now the burst from this Elise will really start to hurt.
Yeah, there's actually been so much movement between the junglers and supports in the last few minutes here. It looks like the lanes will return to relative normalcy. And as we look up, a kill apiece. First blood for CLG, but the gold pretty much even. CLG holding on to a very small lead in that department.
And it's going to be really important to track Brox. And this is just what happens when you pick an off-meta jungler. You're just asking to be judged through a magnifying glass your every single move, because you have to play well enough to justify this pick and not something that is more meta. So he has to be really good. And thus far, I like that he's exerting a lot of pressure. That play in mid lane, you always look for it, and you would have expected Palafox to flash, but if he doesn't, you punish it, you get the kill, and you start snowballing your matchups. Damonte's Echo pick is going to be really good into the Syndra because he can get Merc Treads, and his ultimate will always allow him to survive the unleashed power.
This, I think, has to be the game plan for CLG, but they are going to get spotted on a ward there. Damonte maybe didn't get seen, but CLG going for it regardless. Damonte going to start it up. Great Cocoon. Kumo buffers the ulti out of there, but Smoothie is going to dive all the way in. He ignited him, and that's going to be a kill out for Broxah. Diamond going to go down as well as CLG find 2 in the top lane.
They knew that the defense was coming, but this time around, they just sent another member up there. Damonte freed up from the mid lane, making it back on the map, can afford to roam up top, and Syndra is just not going to get anything else on mid wave. She's not going to shove up. There's a Rift Herald to claim for it, and CLG just committing so hard on the play top side, ensuring that this works. Telegraph from the draft, but the execution is so darn good. Broxah does a really good job here predicting the Cocoon, and even though Kumo buffers it, Smoothie gets to follow up with the Zenith Blade, has the Ignite. Broxah finishes it off, and by Diamond trying to defend, Zenith blading forward, ends up extending him and giving another kill over to CLG.
Yeah, another Rift Herald as well. This gold lead starting to pick up a bit of pace here for CLG, up 1,200 gold. The Rift Herald plate should convert into a bit more as well, as Tomo was at least trying to counter push, gets 2 plates already. Dragon goes over to FlyQuest as expected, and Jose Diodo is continuing to, farm through this jungle alongside Diamond, getting very far ahead personally. But is that personal lead in jungle enough to kind of stop the mid-game CLG have set up for themselves?
The Graves needs so much gold to be relevant in the team fights later on. He's gonna likely go for the shield bow build to stay alive from the dive, but then once he starts building crit, that's when he's gonna be really dangerous. With just a shield bow, it's not gonna be enough, so it's gonna be a long ways for FlyQuest to actually have a stronger team fight than what CLG currently has with the way they've been playing. And frankly, this is what the CLG curse seems to always be. When you are in locked in 10th place, not playing for anything for yourself, is when you're showing your absolute best performance. And here they go after Kuma once again.
Good attempt, Cocoon. They're not going to connect. Rift Herald there as well, but Finn honestly has done enough damage to that tower himself that I don't think he wants to pop the Herald just yet in top side. Turtle gets himself ulted by Varus. That poke is pretty big. So Turtle going to be forced back here, but holds on to his summoners.
Some good poke there from Fly, but because now Fly does not have members in the area, Wild Turtle can just stay here. He knows that this is going to be fine. He has the heal. He can just hang back. As long as Tomo is not in range of an arrow, he can still crash this. And it's not like they're any closer to getting another blade, so Fly won't get much for this.
I kind of like that from Smoothie, actually. I think like your instinct is to block the skill shot, but it's not blockable. As Zenith Blade is going to connect. Now the ulti finds both. Tomo maybe going to get sniped, but Diamond is going to find it, and Tomo knocks it down with the arrow. And now Smoothie in danger of getting dove himself, but Brox is wrapping around the bot side.
Okay, there's no aggro on Diamond, so I think he should be fine. Jose can flash out if he's in danger, and he does.
Good flash. Broxer with the cocoon incoming, so Jose recognizes that, gets himself out of there.
I think that was a misread from CLG, knowing that they were lucky to hold on to that wave. They thought there was an opportunity to actually turn that fight around. But Tomo has cleanse. He has flash. He can't escape against Leona. And then when they commit and Wild Turtle gets re-engaged upon, they don't have a way out since this Ezreal does not have a cleanse. So he gets locked down, sniped out, and what should have just been holding the wave and staying safe under turret ends up being a kill for FlyQuest.
Finn also got the top tower as well, so a ton of gold over to Renekton. Now Broxer going to be dropping the Herald mid, you have to think, and giving some plates over to Demonte. There is the Herald being dropped. This will not take the tower, but the gold they collect is good enough, as the Herald will charge.
This is an important Herald for CLG, not just to take down mid lane turret, since the next Herald will likely be used here as well, but the Monte in the side lanes is going to be so dangerous. No one on FlyQuest will be able to deal with him. Kumo is far behind, the Syndra struggles against the Echo, and with Finn already far away, CLG is set up for a 1-3-1 that FlyQuest just won't be able to answer. If the Monte starts to get more gold, some Dark Seal stacks, Palafox will be hugging turret constantly, and all it will take is Broxer to show up. That's a kill, and that's just a snowball that FlyQuest can't stop.
Oh, what a great ult by Smoothie. Flashes in for the Zenith Blade. Ignite down. Tomo is going to die. Smoothie gets it, but it's 2 TPs now for FlyQuest. Looking to try and trade 2 kills for 1. That's a deal they'll take every day of the week, even Sunday in the final day of the regular season of the LCS. 2 for 1 there for Kumo.
Good response there from FlyQuest. The double TPs and both kills going over to the carries. Crucially, while CLG's gold went over to Smoothie, it will cost some damage in this mid lane trade. They might even lose it, actually, so it's not like CLG is not answering, but the key thing was that Finn did not have TP to ensure that he could join that fight. He's really strong with the Gorge Drinker. That might have actually been able to turn the fight around, but I think CLG's happy with opening the map in exchange for those kills.
I go from ahead. Definitely problematic. So Demonte getting that goal, but he gets out over the Baron Pit and is back to safety. And as you set it up, Crumbs, Demonte, this is the kind of position where he can take over the game in the side lane. Echo is such a menace when he gets going.
All right, so CLG knows that Tomo does not have cleanse. He's a prime target and a really good look from Smoothie. He had to flash. He absolutely had to flash right away, just did not react quickly enough from Smoothie from the brush, and so him going down means that FlyQuest does not get the maximum value out of this play, since CLG gets some gold in return.
All right, well, 2 kills for 2 TPs. Certainly gold FlyQuest will be happy to have, and the gold lead is actually stabilized a decent amount here. It felt like maybe CLG, with the early lead, with the Herald, could open things up, but they've kept it at about 1,000 for FlyQuest here after some nice trades. But again, it is the Echo that's going to be the problem. Demonte probably level 11 by now. In fact, he is. And now he's in the side lane. He's got TP, he's got ulti. It is so hard to dislodge him from this area of the map.
There's no one there to match him. Como is in the mid lane, so he's just trying to help FlyQuest shove this out, since they want to go for the Dragon. They know that their win condition will revolve around team fighting, around the Dragon stacking, so they'll go for this, whereas CLG continues to play the 1-3-1. Look at what's happening. They're sending Elise and Leona topside. That means that since FlyQuest committed so many members here, they won't even make it in time to try to hold this. If Kumo attempts this, he will just die.
Demonte just hammering away at the tower. Kumo takes the long way around because he has to be completely safe here, but not going to be enough to do anything other than catch this wave, as that gold just keeps stacking up for Demonte.
It was such a large change that just happened recently with the gold on the tier 2 turrets that has really opened up compositions to be played in 1-3-1 fashion, since now you no longer have to just contest Dragon knowing that there's nothing that you can trade for it once you burn the outer turrets. Now you can go for tier 2s and get even further ahead in gold, making it so difficult for the enemy to contest you once you start to join. Demonte getting more gold under his belt is going to be really tricky. You can already see that Kumo has to entirely back off off. No one is matching these 1-3-1s, and it's so long until Jose Teodoro ends up being a relevant carry that can sideline against him. The Graves of the Shield Bow can fight this, but it's not like he has kill pressure on his own. These champions don't have setup unless CLG is diving onto them.
Whereas for Echo, especially with that lit bow, wow, already finished for Damonte. He's got plenty of kill threat, no matter where he goes.
So much damage on him, and I like the prioritization of DPS when you're running Dark Seal. I think it's one of the best items that makes mages strong right now because you can just get free AP, just free stacking. If you had an item like Dark Seal for ADs that also help your laning phase, boy, you would never see mages again.
They don't need help, Crumbs. All right? They get everything!
They do.
Everything! I mean, just look at like Gale first versus Rocket Bounce, Herald's Grudge versus Rylai's. Literally every item versus all the other ones.
Let's bring back the old Stride Breaker as well, the old Gorge Breaker. We had everything.
All right, can you just revert Zhonya's ring to Season 1? That's what it'll take.
That's
you remember that item?
You know, if players don't even know about insects today, I don't even think they remember the Zhonya's ring, which, by the way, was Zhonya's Hourglass and Death Cap in a single item.
It's a staple together.
Yeah.
It was a good time. And then they changed it because, you know, that's reasonable. Finn, though, weak side player here on the CLG setup is going to take that tower. No real defense there for Palafox. Doesn't really have enough safety, enough vision. And honestly, Renekton can dive a Syndra pretty easily. As Turtle shifting aggressively forward, as he is wont to do. Damonte, Tomo! The Q is enough! Ezreal almost made it happen. Tomo did actually flash, but Damonte committed his flash as well, and Tomo barely gets away.
So close, and I think CLG was looking for a blue buff steal there, but they're a little bit too late since Jose Teodoro got to fall back on it, so they don't quite get to really counter jungle on FlyQuest side of the map, but they still get to pop a Herald and now go for a tier 2. This is CLG applying pressure from the sides that FlyQuest is just not able to answer.
FlyQuest, again, push back here. 3,000 gold up now for CLG, a very respectable lead here in this mid-game. They obviously need to keep pushing the pace of the game, keep leaning on this lead to bring themselves further ahead in gold. But they are setting up pretty nicely in order to do that. That tier 2 in mid looking pretty weak after that Herald charged in for the second time. And Broxide gonna have to get out of there, but should be A-okay as FlyQuest trying to clean out this vision and this Elise from their jungle.
Cleaning out the vision now should set them up for a dragon fight if they really want to, but despite going up against 1-3-1, I think they're too far behind in gold right now, especially because of how vulnerable they will be to being flanked. Tomo is such an easy target right now. Damonte or Finn getting onto the backline is going to delete him instantly, and you just can't afford to take these fights without the early poke. So I think that FlyQuest, with the early 2 dragons they built up, should likely use this to just hang on, to farm some more gold, ensure that Jose Teodoro starts to get more relevant in this game, because going for a fight right now, if they lose it, could be Baron, and that's game. 1-3-1 with Baron that you cannot defend is lights out.
All right, well, 55 seconds till the third dragon is up, but as you've alluded to, very likely to be CLG's dragon. I don't think FlyQuest want to take a fight at this juncture. Crumbs, I am curious, what do you think Damonte is going to build third?
Okay, if you really want to team fight and tower dive, I think you go with a stopwatch. I think you go Hourglass and ensure that you can play make, go for some really crazy stuns, or a Death Cap.
Yeah, there we go. I was going to say, what do you want him to build? Because I think he's going to build a Zhonya's, but I want him to build a Death Cap.
Yeah, a Death Cap would be pretty nuts. I think if he gets a big fight with a few kills, and you have enough damage for enough gold for a needlessly large, you go for that, and then you just ride that spike. But if you just don't have the back for it, then you go for the Hourglass, maybe you go for just the Fiendish Codex instead. So I think it really will depend on this next fight for CLG if Damonte goes for that route, because if he starts getting that much more gold, it's really going to be tough for FlyQuest to defend, because then he really will have one-shot potential.
I mean, like, no single champion can fight this Echo on the FlyQuest side right now. Kumo is just backing away. I mean, it's also like he's got help, right? Prox is constantly shadowing the lane. Smithy's there as well. CLG, I like this. Actually going to take the tower first here. Use the vision they gained for that dragon as Damonte's leaping in onto Jose Teodoro. So sticky, so annoying. Ulti's back to relative safety, but Diamond with the re-engage. And that's going to be a punish. Damonte will fall. The tower did go down, but FlyQuest with the kill they're looking for, and now Kumo trying to make it happen. He's Echo now. Ulti's on the Turtle, but a good shift away. But now Kumo's still not done. Stuns up Smoothie. Damage over the top is good, but not enough. It's 5v4 for FlyQuest. Back to that dragon.
I tell you, the Viego as an Echo looks really nutty, but That's an overstep from Damonte, thinking that he could go for that while Rel still had everything, exposed him, and now FlyQuest get a free dragon. This will put them at soul point. I think FlyQuest can commit to this, and CLG just doesn't have enough members to go for it. There's 8 seconds on Damonte to teleport if they want to answer a fight, but they need a ward deep in the base. I think CLG's looking for it. They don't know that Kumos lingered around, but they're still trying.
There's the TP. Finn again going to try and cut them off, but Powerfox putting the spheres up, and there's no angle here for CLG. So a wasted TP perhaps there for Damonte, over-eager to try and dive there in the mid lane. And that soul point, the one we didn't expect FlyQuest to get, goes to FlyQuest.
That's danger, because that Ocean Soul is lingering as the win con for FlyQuest now. That should have definitely been CLG's big overstep from Damonte going for that play. Now, though, they'll have to switch their focus to Baron, and the danger is that this composition doesn't really threaten a Baron too well.
What's happening on my screen? Kumo's 2 levels down on Finn, just beating him up with Divine Sunderer.
That's that Viego. You know, the Renekton has already done his job. His early game laning prowess has already been taken advantage of, and now it's Viego's kingdom.
Surprise! Smoothie there, gonna get jumped on by Diamond. Does have to flash out of the way, but Smoothie's prepping the crabs, so would want that flash, but not going to have it. Nice little setup there for FlyQuest.
That's a good look from FlyQuest. They're anticipating that CLG is going to switch their focus to the Baron side, so they've already warded, and they were waiting for CLG to be uncoordinated to try to attempt to ward, thinking that FlyQuest would have already been late to the bases after taking that dragon, and by just grouping up together, they get a crucial flash down. Smoothie's flash is going to be really important to get onto the back line, whether it's Palafox or Jose Deodo. Leona Flash Stun is really big as a summoner spell for engage, and getting that out of the way means that they're so much safer to contest for vision.
Yeah, FlyQuest still 4K behind, looking for kind of item number 2 in almost every case. It's actually Tomu that's the closest with Manamune almost transformed. Finn also contesting with his blue, going to get it smote away by Jose Deodo, but Finn is continuing to pressure now. He is the weak side player, so he's got to be a bit careful, but he is forcing potentially people to come down here for FlyQuest, and they're actually going to play to Damonte as the strong side here.
And he knows he has to play far back, because look at where CLG is at on the map. They have so much vision on the red side that they know for sure that FlyQuest is not there. And if they're not there, they're either in the base or setting up a trap in the bot side. So he has to wait until FlyQuest reveals himself before he can push up. Diamond is in trouble.
Face check, Cocoon, Solar Flare. Wow, that's a good buffer. Diamond going to get out of there.
Yeah, really clutch there. The Merc Treads helping out as well. Finn can now trade, but as long as they see multiple members of CLG, FlyQuest knows that they can just hold on here and wait for that Ocean Soul as their fight. They don't need to go after a Baron defense, and CLG's clearly not threatening it right now.
Right, and this is the plan, though, for CLG. 1-3-1. Continually move around, figure out where FlyQuest are, overload the same side of the map they're looking to gank you in, and hope your weak side plays safe. Right now, that's Damonte, but again, Echo is very hard to pin down, especially when you don't have good vision in your own jungle, as CLG have done a good job of taking that for the most part. And we'll see what play CLG want to make next, but if this holds like this, you think they'll get some traction in the side lane towers, or at least fall back for that dragon they should have got last time.
I think they do. They have so much here, but it's just that their Baron take is so slow.
Yeah.
It would be so easy for FlyQuest to walk up, and now they're grouping up, trying to contest vision, knowing that the red is up. Here could be a fight.
Finn does have TPs. Red buff goes to Broxer, but he gets himself locked up, and now Tomo going to get deleted by Damonte. And Finn's going to TP through Damonte, now looking to cut off the rest of FlyQuest. Powerfox going to get slow, but the ulti from Pala's real nice. Damonte forced to ulti back towards them, but now Diamond's been cut off on the bottom side of your screen. That's 2 kills now for CLG.
They can fall back to Baron now. Damonte with a huge flank. This was the danger of the 1-3-1, where the Echo and the Renekton can collapse onto the immobile carries, and they have one-shot potential. Immediately deleting Tomo and getting the summoners on top of that. It certainly is looking like Tanner time pastry. He is the star of this show.
And that is Baron to CLG. Thank you, kind Redditor, for realizing the error of your past ways. Tanner time is, in fact, a great catchphrase.
It is. It absolutely is, because it can always be Tanner time. It's Tanner time somewhere.
It's Tanner time right now, that's for sure. Void stuff done. Didn't go over the Zhonya's or the Death Cap, sadly. But you know what? I'll take it. Again, still scaling up, still looking good. As Kumo does take the bottom side tower. That's actually FlyQuest, wow, first tower of this game. And they're going to need something, because CLG are on the Red Bull Baron power play, looking to make this game real tricky. Although 20 seconds till the Dragon Soul's up, and CLG are in the wrong direction for that objective.
This is FlyQuest's last stand. committing for the dragon fight. The wave is crashing in mid, and CLG is not going to push it, so they want to fight this.
Alrighty, CLG. Oh, Damonte again. He's found the wraparound. The vision's not good here for FlyQuest. Now they've seen Damonte. That's good poke. Again, Damonte does not have his Zhonya's. I will remind you, just the ulti to keep him alive is Kumo.
Nice.
Going to try and cut him off. And now Damonte probably knows. In fact, with the world going down, he will know. He's going to meet him now. Viego could be a spot of bother here for Echo, and Damonte is going to have to move back, but CLG have forced their way outside the Dragon Pit.
CLG knows they don't want to give it up, but they're going, whoa, Finn, there's no one else.
Yeah, ulti there. Tomo ulti's back, and now Kumo trying to get Damonte, but there's the ulti out of Damonte as Finn is going to stun up Kumo. Kumo is going to fall down. CLG now with the 5v4. Kicking FlyQuest out of the dragon.
Kumo tried to be cute and execute Damonte, but he has so much to stay alive. Just pops the ultimate and survives through it. Jose Dioro does get spotted here, so he's going to have his back stalled, and at least it really buys a lot of time from the Baron. There's a minute and 20 on it left, so it doesn't seem like CLG will be able to do much, but they're not going to let Jose Dioro live out of this, so staggering this back will really fly.
Such a nice little CC combo there for Smoothie, and now Turtle is going to reinforce the Broxer, and he's going to grab the kill. Nice hunting there for Smoothie, stopping that back and eventually getting the kill.
That's Scryer's Bloom on the red buff, spotted Jose Dioro. Normally he's thinking, I could just get a steal and get something in return that would normally not have been available since I cannot go for my jungle camps right now, but instead pays for it. But it doesn't look like CLG was in a position to even push on these minion waves, so the Baron won't get that much value besides deterring the FlyQuest Ocean Soul. They're still in this game, but it feels like CLG slowly getting just way too strong. Despite FlyQuest being good at team fighting with this composition, there's just too much gold on CLG as they're now 8,000 gold up.
Yeah, gold's getting pretty massive here as Damonte, with the rest of the team, is going to try and take down this tier 2. As you mentioned, not a lot of time left on the Baron, but still enough to get some gold for themselves here. It is only Inhibitor and Nexus turrets up for FlyQuest. That was not the deadly 1-3-1 Baron we would expect from CLG, because they did have to take a pit stop to get that dragon, but they still won the team fight. They'll take it poised to finish off this game and end their season on a high note.
So Finn looking to go in, but at the same time, Tomo charging up his stun, thinking he can go after Damonte, and I think the key element here, Merc Treads on the Echo, being able to live through the stun and have enough time to survive the execute of the Viego is what keeps him alive and allows him to use the ultimate. And it was a play that, had it worked, Kuma would have looked like a god, but gets outplayed and instead doesn't get the outplay, and FlyQuest just lose the Ocean Soul, but it's still a win con for them.
Look at this for Smoothie. Solar Flare into the Zenith Blade, lining up all the CC, and then Turtle comes in, finishes it off, and Broxer correctly donates the kill to his AD carry.
Always give kills over when you're the Elise. You actually don't
that's
need
true,
gold.
actually.
You are a cocoon bot later into the game. When someone has some MR, you really won't be able to hurt them. So your merit as this champion is entirely judged by your ability to hit those spells, and sometimes just flashing in for executes. But being a main damage dealer is something that you only do in the early game.
Yeah, you bought Mythic and an Hourglass. You're good. You don't need any more gold. As CLG lining it up, as FlyQuest are going to have to defend these turrets for quite a while. Baron back up in a minute 45. Dragon Soul still on the table for FlyQuest. 2 minutes 15, so a little bit after that Baron, and that will be available for FlyQuest. But if they can't get the Baron, it's going to be very tough to get that Dragon. So definitely trending CLG's direction. I feel like I can hear something, Crumbs, in the background.
Yeah.
It's Golden Guardian starting to get excited about the prospect of having their postseason clinched by a CLG win here, but it's not over yet.
They are absolutely loving this. It really is looking like CLG is playing with poise. Only a single major error which cost the Dragon, but their composition just feels like it's so geared up to thrive in these situations. The 1-3-1 just won't get any better for FlyQuest. Damonte is too strong, and there's no one that can really engage on him. That already was the unleashed power from Palafox, and Damonte's just half HP. He still has the stopwatch, and he still has an ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, didn't need to use much at all there. A Smoothie trying to find the angle. Follow-up poke is decent there, as CLG are trying to keep FlyQuest in their base for as long as possible. Pretty successful so far, but again, have to be cognizant of the objective time. It's 35 seconds until the Baron is up.
So now the key is going to be how FlyQuest looks to approach Baron, because they have no vision in that side of the map whatsoever, and they know that CLG will present a fight at that objective. They have to clear out vision. They have to ensure that they do not get flanked like they did last time where Tomo got instantly deleted. And so for CLG, they will have to not only orchestrate a coordinated dive, but ensure that they balance out doing Baron and turning the fight. This is where FlyQuest can look to pincer CLG if multiple members are split off. If the 1-3-1 is not tight and some members are warding off in solo missions, that's where FlyQuest can get a single kill and get some breathing room.
Yeah, not a lot of tankiness on the CLG side. I mean, Smoothie's somewhat tanky, but it doesn't last that long. Finn actually went Stoneplate. He's like, okay, I guess I'm the front liner. Yeah. Have to go ahead and build a little bit more durability, but I mean, it's 3 pretty brittle carries in the mid there for CLG.
It's not the frozen heart Ezreal either, so he does take full damage from that lethality on Tomo. So Wild Turtle having red buff does keep him healthy, but it's not like if he gets hit by a stun, he can live through that. So just playing it safe, CLG will go for the dragon. They know that this is nice and easy and won't be contested. But once the rest of the team joins up, they will put their full focus on the Baron. And this is why FlyQuest is already here. They are anticipating CLG moving in this direction, but they don't have the goal to stand up to them right now. So if CLG just moves forward, they have to fall back.
I just love the split of map attention there for CLG. You know, Finn down the bottom side, clearing out space. Smoothie and Demonte gatekeeping the Baron. And then an easy two-man dragon, for CLG as they set up for the objective on the north side of the map. It's Smoothie going to catch 2 rotating up towards Demonte. Demonte going to back away. And Smoothie still in the hiding spot.
He knows Demonte's safe. There's just no chance of catching Demonte. He's so fast on this Echo. And Jose Dioro as a Graves just doesn't have any follow-up. Doesn't have a way to initially catch Demonte and set him up. So unless Diamond is in range of Echo, which is so unlikely, Demonte can just walk out.
And now they start it. Wild Turtle actually solo starting the Baron right now. Does have Broxer there. Broxer again, not that tanky. So FlyQuest's going to move in. Finn going to spot them. Smoothie here as well. CLG's plan, I assume, is to turn off the Baron, but they're actually doing it pretty quickly.
TP's here, but CLG can turn or finish. They need to decide.
Kuma getting a little too close. Oh, what an ulti! Smoothie, though, goes gold and pops the ulti. Finn now in the backline making it happen. Tomo's going to get the kill, but it's not enough for Diamond as he dives in and does fall down. Whoa. But Kumo is the one to kill Broxer. Demonte's still alive, though. Does have the ulti ready to go. Pops the stasis first. Wild Turtle on a killing spree as Demonte pops the ulti now to safety.
That's a win for FlyQuest. The jungler is down. CLG can't go for that Baron, and they defend the attempt from CLG. They wanted to turn. It didn't look that coordinated, though, because Ezreal and Elise were still in the pit when Smoothie went in. A great scatter of the week from Palafox prevents him from jumping the carries of FlyQuest right away, and it actually splits off Finn. So watch how Smoothie attempts to go in and immediately gets stunned out. So right now CLG have vision because of the True Shot Barrage, but now they don't know that Palafox is here. The Echo Stun is already down. It actually does so much damage to Smoothie. It prevents him from stunning right away. Great re-engage there from Diamond, buys time, and then Kumo in the backline gets an execute on Broxer. Thinking he can make a Hail Mary play there, but once again, Demonte with the outplay with the stopwatch.
Yep, completely means the ulti. Ulti's the safety to stop the incoming stun, and both teams will trade, but FlyQuest holding on. About 9,000 gold down as a bunch of damage numbers get thrown back and forth in that team fight, but they are not done. Remember, this, no matter what happens, is CLG's final game of the season. If FlyQuest want to continue playing this year, they have to win this game.
It's a lot of downtime. In fact, it's too much downtime. They would go home until next year, but good disengage from Diamond. Doesn't get stunned.
Slow only from the Solar Flare. Ulti out of there is real nice out of Varus, actually, but Demonte looking to try and dive in on one of the squishier targets, but not forthcoming. Finn still with the TP down to that bottom side of the map. Can come at any time, is consistently threatening these inhibitors as well. Palafox is tied to this turret right now, which is not a very fun thing to do when the enemy team is trying to take Baron.
Has TP, but there's no real wars for him to go into without being in danger of being turned upon. Now they have vision, but Jose Dioro is so far away. he has to attempt a steal if they want to hold on to this. Now they see it. Look at all the wards in the back of this, but the control wards prevented. I think CLG have earned it. Finn is too scared. Oh, wait a minute. What? They just backed off.
Where's Demonte? Oh, he's mid lane. Okay. They're trying to find him out. It's hard in the fog of war. He did TP, but he's going to kill Palafox. 5v4 now for CLG, but Smoothie a little bit low. Diamond! 3-man Magnet Storm! They're going to get the counter kill there as Smoothie falls down, and Kumo now trying to pop off with the ulti. But Broxah goes up and Golden. Finn is running the rest of them around. The ridge here as Finn is on a killing spree, takes out Diamond, and now Tomo gonna get deleted by Turtle. Demonte gonna make it happen. Jose Diodo falls. It's only Kumo left alive. That is the ace for CLG.
They kick FlyQuest out of playoffs and earn Golden Guardians to spot. Golden Guardians logo being spammed by Demonte. He did it for them. He had the solo kill on Palafox, catches him in rotation, makes sure that he takes him out, and that's why CLG backs off. They had a 1v1 win. They knew they could take the team fight, and every member has the Golden Guardians logo.
The GM of Golden Guardians with the CLG win right at the end. I mean, we talked about it. They're obviously going to be cheering for him here, and CLG finish it off with a Bud Light ace and a victory to end their season and push the Golden Guardians into 8th.
How is it possible that at the very last moment, when their backs are against the wall, when nothing matters for CLG, that is exactly when you can count on them. This team just continues to surprise, even on their last hurrah.
It's called counter logic, Crumbs. It's an amazing season for FlyQuest, but right now, they're going to be joining Dash and Broxah in the Verizon post-game interview. Maybe after the break.
All right, we're still here.
All right, we'll figure it out. It's all good.
All right, yeah, we're chilling.
We're chilling.
I think Broxah feels good about this one.
I think so. I hope so.
Hello and welcome back to the LCS and the Verizon post-game interview. I am here with Broxa after ending the season on a victory, a high note there over FlyQuest. Broxa. All that said, I know it's not the season you wanted when all is said and done, but I did want to take an opportunity to reflect with you on the year at hand. It has been a tumultuous one at the very least, but how do you, in the immediacy of the moment, reflect on this split?
Ooh, good question, honestly. I am filled with a lot of different thoughts and emotions right now. I don't really know what to feel, to be completely honest with you, about the season as a whole, about the split, or about this game that we just played. On one side, I guess it feels all right finishing the season with a win, but at the same time, we didn't make it to playoffs. There's no chance of making it to Worlds, and it didn't really matter, which is kind of a shame. And ultimately, looking back, finishing 10th place, it doesn't feel good. There's a lot of disappointments looking back. There's a lot of things that I wish could have been different, that I wish, we could have changed and actually found a way to make it work. But the situation is what it is, and now we just got to accept that.
I hear that, and I really do appreciate the honesty in that. And I don't want to press you too much in a reflective manner for, what it coulda, shouldas, but you did release a piece of content recently in which you revealed that you appreciated and enjoyed the challenge of coming over here, to the U.S., playing in a different league, trying to build a new team, things like that. Just want to check in with you on where you're at in your professional career as a League of Legends, pro player. You have been all the way to the World Finals, as you just mentioned. You've experienced high highs, you've experienced low lows, but I think so many people, community and pro players alike, look at you as a leader in this industry on many levels. So for you, when you have these, these moments, good or bad, what drives you through it? What is the thing that is your through line that you use as your motivation to get through these things?
Great question, honestly. There's no doubt that this year has been by far the biggest setback in my career. This is going to be my first time not making it to Worlds. Last year was my first time not making it out of groups at Worlds. And if you compare the 2 years I've had in NA to the ones I had in the LEC, there's no doubt that it hasn't gone the direction I was hoping for. I came here last year with not only hopes, but like almost expecting to come out with, an LCS victory, an LCS trophy, and so get some international success. Now this year, joining CLG has been a bit of a different challenge for me. And as you mentioned yourself, as I've mentioned in the past, I like challenges. I like opportunities to grow, not only as a player, but also as a person. And being in this team required me to go for a bit of a different role that I've had on my other teams. And despite us finishing 10th place, I would like to think that I've learned a lot from the experience. And I guess from motivation, motivation can come from a lot of things. Right now, looking into the next year, there's no doubt that this year has been a bit of a painful one for me in a lot of ways. And the way that I look at it is that every professional athlete in both traditional sports and esports has highs and lows in their career. I've been very fortunate so far, more or less only having highs up until this point. And I think the good athletes are going to be happy with the highs they've had and just, accept that at one point they reach a low and they're going to quit. But I think for me, I would like to think that one way or another, I'm going to be able to come out on top, and I'm going to be able to come into next year stronger. And hopefully at some point in the next year or the year after that, I will be someone that people look at and, where they say like, wow, this guy had a rough 2021. Things didn't really go the way that he was hoping for. He had a bit of a setback, but wow, what a comeback he made.
Well, I I'm envious of that mindset at the very least. And I will say I take it as a comfort to know that you're already thinking about your return next year and coming in and smashing it that much harder. Don't want to dwell too much, and I definitely want to let you go. But I did, of course, want to get some thoughts from you about the postseason. You, unlike me, have had the opportunity to play against all of these players on stage and have that firsthand knowledge of the varying strengths of the teams. And so I'm curious, given the closeness, particularly of the top of the table, seeds 1 through 5, who do you see as the biggest threat in playoffs? Who would be your pick for favorite to win the LCS?
I think I'm gonna answer this question with a decent amount of bias.
Fair enough.
I was just talking about this whole comeback story kind of thing, and one person that I've been talking to a lot, not only this year but the past years, and who have made an amazing comeback story and that I would really like to see having a lot of success, is Santorin. Not only because of the path he's had, like, coming into the LCS, being at the top, going back down, and now climbing back to top form again. I really admire that entire story, but just as much, with all the health problems and stuff he's dealing with, I think if Santorin and Team Liquid manage to pull it together after the issues they've gone through and actually bring home the trophy, that would, in my eyes, be such an amazing story. And then if I am to remain completely unbiased, it's like, I don't really know. I feel like it's really hard to judge who's going to win, it feels like all teams are really close.
Fair enough. All right, well, we look for
Santorin and Teal right now.
All right, Santorin gets his comeback this year, and we look for the Broxa comeback in spring 2022. Broxa, thank you so much for taking the time. I do want to congratulate you on the victory today, but more so, I want to thank you for being such a role model, such an icon in our community. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
All right, from here, we're going to the Bud Light Breakdown to meet our MasterCard Player of the Week for Week 9 of the LCS. Tigers, take it away.
Thank you, Dash. And I think on behalf of everyone in the studio, we are all also very appreciative of Broxa in his honesty in that interview and reflecting upon the season that they just experienced on the side of CLG. For everybody that is watching at home, welcome back. We are recognizing our MasterCard Player of the Week. And for the final week of the regular season, it was a close vote, but ultimately it goes to Spica from first place TSM.
Yeah, so for people who didn't watch my entire MVP section on Spica, TSM have received some criticism about not being proactive early. And guess who is driving a more proactive early game on TSM? It's definitely Spica. There were a lot of 2-1 teams this week. Obviously, the one game that they lost wasn't exactly particularly serious.
You don't say it.
But in the previous 2 games, he had really strong performances. I think when you're looking at TSM transitioning from the regular season into playoffs, Spica has been a rock for this team. He's been behind, again, regardless of whether they have been experimenting, been playing things that they're absolutely comfortable with. He has just been a driving force behind all of their victories. I think he's had a career split, quite honestly. And so, yeah, it's really cool to see him win Player of the Week this week.
Yeah, that's a very important note to make, because while this is an accolade for his performance during specifically Week 9, it does feel like he has been such a driving force for TSM all the way through, and even showcasing the fact that he and the rest of the team are top seed caliber.
Yeah, and we even brought out, we talk about TSM in terms of, again, transitioning into playoffs, and we're like, okay, it's a really good meta for them. It's a really good meta for PoE specifically. What does it mean for it to be a really good meta for TSM? As we can see, the Olaf is back. Spica is incredibly comfortable on this. So when we're, again, looking at how they're going to transition and what he specifically did this week, it is how proactive he was early, and it is playing some of the picks that are making their way back into the meta that we know he's super comfortable on.
Yeah, how important do you think the fact is that picks like Olaf are coming back when there are a lot of junglers that love trying to carry on picks like that going into something like playoffs?
I think it's going to be great watching Spica, watching Blabber, and both of them in playoffs are the 2 major Olaf players. Santorin's another Olaf player, so it should be really good.
Yeah, good stuff coming from the jungle position across the board. And we are officially, I'm kind of sad, it's the last end of our Week 9 regular season, but it means that playoffs are on the horizon. We're going to send things on over to the Bud Light Breakdown to start breaking down this weekend we've had.
Thank you very much, the Tigress. Welcome to the Bud Light Breakdown. Yes, have no fear. While the regular season is over, there's plenty of League of Legends on the horizon as we get into the best-of-5 series, the postseason, and then eventually that qualification towards Worlds, right?
Yes.
We love to see it. We love to see it. We'll be hearing from a member of the Golden Guardians, Stixay, in just a few minutes as they have now officially qualified for the postseason. So stay tuned for that. But for now, I mean, Golden Guardians, CLG did it for him.
Bless him. The Counter Logic Guardians. For that one day we had that them come together. Demonte did them a solid.
Yeah, and I tweeted this out, but it's pretty funny that the trade for Golden Guardians and FlyQuest that improved both their teams probably actually knocked FlyQuest out because Licorice has been incredible since he's joined them, and they looked pretty revitalized. Even though they had improved already in summer, they picked up so many more wins after.
I will say this. I would have been sad if you just looked at the summer record. 11 wins to the 8 wins of FlyQuest.
That's the thing.
If Golden Guardians didn't make it over the hump to go into playoffs because of that spring split record.
I mean, by the same argument, they're one game behind our 6th place team when it comes to summer.
Well, I was going to say,
split records.
in general, the summer split records actually perfectly reflect the standings, aside for that 1, 6, and 8th change that they had.
Yeah.
So, or 6th and 7th technically. So, I mean, like, it's pretty crazy actually. You know, as much as we're like, oh, those games from 2 months ago. You know, it's like, well, it's still pretty close actually.
Yeah, but it makes me very happy and genuinely excited to see what Golden Guardians can do in the postseason. Because of exactly what we're talking about. That 14-31 lies to you, I think, about their overall strength when it comes to where they're at right now. But outside of the story of Golden Guardians eking their way into playoffs, I think as we look back at these 9 weeks, in fact, the whole year even, there's a couple other big things that jump to mind. First and foremost, pretty damn good year for Bjergsen as a rookie coach.
There it is.
Right?
Yep. Come into action.
Doesn't have a title yet. But he at least got, I mean, first place regular season. That's pretty big.
Number 1. I mean, everybody, look, I'm going to say it. Everyone comes in as like, after that last World's performance as a detractor, you know, make fun of TSM fans because it's easy sometimes. But like, they come in, really strong squad, damn good performance. You know, the draft works for them fairly consistently. Even when they were out of meta with an incredible control-made player in Power of Evil, like, he adapted, played it on that meta, and now they're in the meta that's really comfortable for them, and I think they're even better.
I think, you know, I wouldn't give too much credit to Coach Bjergsen if they hadn't had to improve over the course of the year. Because if you go all the way back to lock-in in the start of the spring, they were a disaster. You know, they had spent so much money. They were getting meme for the Sword Art plays or the $6 million, you know, situation. All that stuff was going on. And to then go all the way from that level to first place in summer, I think that's where you see a coach's influence is more about over the large span of time. And so, you know, this was a highly paid roster. You expect good things out of them, but they had to work for it. It wasn't like they just came together and it's like, bam, best team in the league.
Right, you look for change, right? Yeah, at the end of the day, if the roster was that good to begin with, then I imagine Bjergsen wouldn't have a lot of work to do, right? Other little things that jump out to me as we continue to reflect on it, a lot of really pop-off performance by a bunch of young players. You know, I know Fudge isn't a rookie when it comes to League of Legends, but here in the LCS, to see his growth, you know, from shit talker, you know, preseason, spring, you know, about how he was going to come in and smack people around.
Still shit talking in summer.
But a little bit more deservedly so. You know what I mean? Like he got clapped back on early in the year, and then to see him really show up and continue to evolve and develop. The same thing for Danny here in summer. I mean, this some really awesome young guys coming up.
And that's the thing, because I think a lot of people were looking forward to what the next story, what the next chapter was for the LCS, right? You know, when you lose not just Bjergsen, but also Doublelift, it's like, well, who are the next marquee players going to be, especially in the AD carry position? And you needed to have people who could step up. FBI stepped up, right? Neo came in and stepped up as a player in Spring Split.
As a Gragas jungler.
Especially as a jungler.
We're going to come back. We're going to come back and reflect a little bit more on the year as a whole, but to grab some thoughts from a member of the playoff qualifying Golden Guardians, here's the Tigress with Stixay. Take it away.
Thank you, Dash. And congratulations, Stixay and the rest of Golden Guardians for making it into playoffs here. I just got to get your perspective on the day, because not only did you have to win your match earlier, but then watch as your fate was being determined.
Yeah, it was a stressful day. We went into today, and I was kind of just like, just play our match. It's going to be a normal match for us. Don't stress too much about it. And honestly, like I wasn't feeling any stress before our Immortals match, but I was really anxious after we had won the game because I knew that it was kind of out of our control. So yeah, we were all just waiting. I think we had to wait like 3 hours till we knew the result, and yeah, thankfully CLG came through.
Yeah, almost a bit more stressful when you don't have the gameplay in front of you to focus on and keep your mind away from all the stress around it. Now, we actually talked a bit at the beginning of this year about your thoughts on Golden Guardians, because coming into it, there's a lot of developmental aspect, you sitting as a veteran. We've seen roster changes come through, the stress of having spring count in your record when going for these playoffs. So what was it like having to hold the weight of this entire year on your shoulders for this qualification?
I mean, I've done a lot of losing in the past year, so there's definitely coming to Golden Guardians was kind of like a way for me to kind of reinvent myself and just focus on, just being as good as I can individually. I think a lot of that is just helped by the fact that I have great teammates and great coaches, so it really wasn't too bad for me.
And what are your personal goals as well as the team's goals for playoffs? Because we've heard Anero talk on the desk about wanting just to get that best of 5 experience, especially for the younger players. You yourself have experienced what it is to be a champion. So how are you getting all of everybody on the same page for the best of 5s to come?
Good question. I mean, before all this happening, our goal was just to make playoffs because we all wanted to play in the best of 5s together. Now that we've got there, for me, like I didn't come here just to get 3-0'd by a team. So hopefully we can make a run.
And as far as the first time that we'll see you attempting to make that run, it'll be determined by C9 versus TL, whoever the loser of that matchup is. How do you and your teammates plan to take this time before that matchup to properly prepare yourselves?
I think it's just being consistent in practice. I think just because we made playoffs doesn't mean anything has to change. I think we're already improving a lot. Even if we didn't make playoffs, I think we improved so much this year. So yeah, just keep doing what we're doing, and I think it'll be fun.
I know that you and the rest of the team are going to be very much focusing on what you're doing, but if you did have a choice between C9 and TL, who would it be?
I mean, as of recently, I think C9's looked pretty good. I think TL has not looked as good. So I would say TL for the time being.
All right. Thanks for the answer, Stixay, and thank you for joining me for this interview. And congratulations once again to yourself and the rest of Golden Guardians.
Thank you.
We are officially towards the end of our Week 9 and regular season. Let's head back on over to the Bud Light Breakdown.
Welcome back to the Bud Light Breakdown, where I'm not entirely sure what we are thumbs-upping and thumbs-downing.
Thumbs-upping Stixay.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great. Well, then by all means, continue with the thumbs up.
There we go.
Congratulations to Stixay and the rest of Golden Guardians on qualifying through to the postseason. We've got Emily joining us to help break down the final day of the regular split. We were doing a little bit of waxing and waning on some of the, either big standouts or favorite things for ourselves throughout what has been a very interesting and fun 2021 LCS year. For you, what would you call out?
Oh,
I know, not pulling punches here on the final.
Yeah, one thing that Mark said struck me, because I've been kind of critical of like how to figure out how do you make spring count and make the records carry into summer, and also, seeing how it's going to shake out in the final thing. So first of all, things did come down to our final game, which I liked. But then also the fact that the spring records reflect, or that the ending reflects what it was plus spring records was kind of interesting to me, except for the one flop. And then, improvement of Golden Guardians has been really impressive to me, just in terms of how you can really concretely see exactly what they've been working on as a team and have them iterate it and improve it over time.
Real quick, Mark, how does it feel? First time you've ever made someone think?
I lost the ability myself. In doing so, my brain stopped working.
Oh, no.
It's a tragedy. Everybody say farewell to Mark Z. This will be the last time he's on the show. Sorry, Raz, I know you wanted to jump in.
Oh, yeah, talking about improvements on that front. Like, Immortals was another team. I was always interested, okay, spring split, we saw these teams. They looked disastrous in spring, and then they come into summer, and they started just knocking people out. And I really enjoyed what this team kind of turned into. So going into the playoffs, they have another, of course, challenge, not being on the lower bracket, of course. But at least now, I look towards what is a vastly more competitive playoffs in summer in comparison to spring.
Well, we're talking playoffs. Let's take a look at it. Let's get some imagery.
Brackets!
Let's go.
Brackets!
Do I have any bracket freaks here?
I want one bracket, sir.
Little bracketology. Well, here it is. It's your playoff bracket. We've got the 3rd seed, Evil Geniuses. They'll be taking on the 6th seed, Indignitas Quantum Pay, on Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific. So that will be the first of our bouts here when it comes to the postseason. That does mean that Cloud9 and Team Liquid. Rematch of spring finals in the first round of the summer playoffs.
It's crazy.
That's wild.
And the crazy thing is, one of those 3 teams, because TSM's on that side of the bracket too, one of those like big spender teams,
Not going to Worlds.
not making it to Worlds.
There it
Going to
is.
Worlds.
Just happens like that.
Oh my goodness. This is going to be some broken hearts at the end of the summer.
Yes, there will.
I mean, from there, right, we're looking at who's going to drop down to play Immortals Golden Guardians. I heard Stixay call it out. Right now, he feels like Team Liquid is the slightly easier team to beat. I mean, I guess that is indicative of the seeds that they find themselves in to begin with. But I do worry, whether or not that opinion will change as Santorin has more time to get gelled back with the team.
That's the thing, because I think, I always look towards like evolution within the playoffs, but we're already seeing evolution in the last week because a lot of these damn teams made so many roster changes and are only really getting that, resurgence in the final weeks. Team Liquid is that team. So I'm like, we only really got to see that Team Liquid in the final week. Yeah. So like, what does the practice look like? What does the first series look like versus Cloud9? So I think that's crazy to see.
Yeah, I think you can make an argument for both of these teams ramping up, actually, right? Because like C9, we've pointed out a lot of their mistakes on the desk, but they are looking better and better. And I actually stand by my take that they could look significantly better in this playoff run than they did in spring, just because like the improvement that Fudge individually has made from spring to summer is actually massive. And even from the beginning of spring to the end of spring when he was going into that initial playoff run. And then obviously TL, to your point, they're like, starting lineup as we predicted or as we expected it to be. This is going to be hopefully their first playoffs run, like sticking with it the entire way. And they just got back together. So despite the fact that we saw, pretty standard resident sleeper, as Mark said, TL draft from them today, I think I did appreciate the flexibility they showed early in the week. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring to playoffs.
Mark Zimmerman, ever the hype man. Raz?
That's the unexpected nature of it, and I don't know. Other than
I'm sorry, man. I don't know what I'm even doing right now.
Yeah, I'm a punching bag.
Well, you did say you don't have a brain anymore.
No,
so now I don't even know what to do. I'm worried about how to go to you. Like, what kind of questions do I ask? To get something out?
When you just said that, and you're still looking absolutely into the distance, you're like, oh no, Mike, come back.
Oh, no.
But like that's what I'm thinking about. Like Cloud9 versus Team Liquid being kind of incredibly unpredictable of what they're going to show us. So there's that front. They could look much better than they did in the final weeks. And then there's Evil Geniuses and 100 Thieves on the other side of the bracket, where EG, I saw, and multiple teams said, top 2 team in the league. But in the new meta, with mage picks coming in, how look do they good? They didn't look too good.
How look do they good, baby?
How good do they look?
I do look good. I look too good.
They look too good, my friend.
They look.
Oh, God.
And then, of course, 100 Thieves, they have the buy, so they have much more time to actually work on the problems they've had.
You know it's the last day of the split when we all start losing our brains. I think for me, what has been most interesting is to hear from the players themselves when it comes to the top teams. And when you ask any different individual who they think is going to be the biggest competition, you do get those different answers. You got Cloud9 looking at TSM and Evil Geniuses. Maybe some people forgetting about 100 Thieves when they looked their best, you know? And then you've got call-outs for Team Liquid saying, hey, if they find their form, they will actually rise above. And then you've got surprises like those teams in the lower bracket, Immortals, Golden Guardians, that should not be forgotten. We got plenty of League of Legends coming your way next week. The Academy playoffs actually begin on Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific, and you can find those matches at the same time on Friday. We're making it easy for you. Saturday and Sunday's matches, they're going to kick off immediately after the LCS broadcast. So you're going to get a double whammy, LCS playoffs, followed by Academy playoffs all weekend long. And while we would normally be closing out our weekend with some fun and games during the Bud Light League Lounge, we will be postponing our final episode of that show until next week when we can hopefully get some players back into the studio to join in on the shenanigans. We figured you didn't want to see more of us.
Understandable.
Yeah,
I'm killing it right now. I don't know. Who doesn't want more of me right now?
Maybe you wanted a little bit more hour mark, and you know what? I'll make the pitch that next week's Bud Light League Lounge is a solo Mark show, and hopefully we can make that happen.
It's just 20 minutes.
30 minutes of meditation with Mark Zimmerman. Okay, that's going to conclude it for our regular season. Thank you so much for joining us for 9 weeks of bongo comps, monster rookies, roster swaps, and Mother's Made LCS action, the best kind. Watch it with your eyes next week. So on behalf of myself, the casters, the analysts, the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week for the playoffs. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and be good to each other, please. Good night.